Folks, this is a very exciting time for me. I'm joined by the stars of Assassin's Creed Mirage and the voices of Basim and Roshan, Lee Majdoub and Shohreh Aghdashloo, as well as Sarah Beaulieu, the narrative director of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, I know Assassin's Creed fans were thrilled at the announcement of your casting, so I have to ask, and Lee, let's start with you. How were you first approached about this role, and what was your familiarity with Assassin's Creed?
Well, I mean, my familiarity, I'm very familiar. I'm a big gamer, played 1, 2, Brotherhood. And I remember being pulled into Assassin's Creed 1, especially, being in the Middle East and being a Middle Eastern person. And yeah, so really cool. As far as like how it came about, I was asked to read for it. And then through that process, met the team and kind of discussed the whole journey and what they were going for. And I was really excited from the very beginning, just to like.
It is pretty exciting.
Assassin's Creed, like, I don't know.
Yeah, really cool. It is, after all, Assassin's Creed. Of course, I was familiar with it, but I didn't know it as much as I'm familiar with it today.
Right.
Well, we wanted you, Shohreh, as the voice of Roshan very early on. That was something we couldn't miss. So when you said yes, I think the whole team was thrilled. And hearing you the first time as Roshan was very powerful for us all, for sure. And I remember our first meeting talking about the pod and how much researches you did before, and how close you were to the character, and how how passionate you were about that. It was very heartwarming for us. And as for Lee, well, he knows that he brought something to the character that I wished he would, which is the light that we wanted for Basim. Basim is a character from Valhalla. People may know him for his, dark path in Valhalla. But what we needed is someone who could bring the kindness and the light of the early Basim, from the beginning of the game until the end. And he brought that, and he brought his kindness. Yes, that's not a bad word. Actually, that's a great one.
Kindness is the right word. You're right for Basim.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's the eyes.
No matter how tough.
It's the eyes.
It's the big, it's the deer eyes that I have. Yeah, it really sucks people
deer
in.
The headlight.
You take a compliment like no problem.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
Thank you. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Shohreh, I want to ask you too. What does it mean to you to depict a character like Roshan in a setting like 9th century Baghdad?
I'm going to ask you a question. Who doesn't want, what kind of an actress does not want to lend her voice to a courageous woman who stands up for justice? Obviously, I was so proud. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for having me in this game. At the end of the day, us actors, we're storytellers. The story needs to connect to us. We need to feel like relative. And therefore, so we can realize that we can do a good job. And when I first read the story, I fell in love with it. It's an amazing, amazing story.
Thank you.
Rarely do you see like a strong Middle Eastern woman of an older age, be like the guiding light in a story.
Yeah.
I fell in love. As soon as I heard your voice, as soon as I heard your name was attached, I was like, okay, yeah, 100%, good job. And then I heard your voice for the first time, and I was like, oh,
and they let
it's
me
just so
hear your
strong.
Voice in the studio.
And you were like, no, I don't like it.
And I was like, that sounds like Basim. It is Basim.
The day is new. There is work to be done. Derwish has left another contract.
Who for?
Your voice changes, right, throughout the course of the story, Lee.
Yeah. I mean, that was a discussion with the team. We had this conversation, and I had this idea of like, well, what if his voice also evolves as he evolves through, from starting out as a thief, and he's a little bit more cocksure and arrogant, and has a little bit more of that smirk on his face. So finding a lighter register because he's in a lighter time in his life.
You need something stolen? I am your man. Derwish can attest.
And then as he goes through a little bit more trauma and seeking out the hidden ones and joining the hidden ones, his experience kind of informs his, the depth in his voice. The way he breathes changes, and his efforts when he climbs change. And
when an actor like Lee brings a suggestion like that to the table, what does it what is your impression when an actor does that, and what does it bring to the character?
Well,
especially when you have an actor like Lee that asks a lot of questions.
Exactly, but I do love that, and you know I do. But it's actually that's what you just said. It's being curious about the character, finding tweaks and stuff that we could add to the characterization. Actually, when you have actors that are so committed into finding little stuff like that, what makes a character is the details, and this kind of details is meaningful. So we do tell the story together, and what they brought to the characters actually is very meaningful to us as storytellers.
It was a very, very collaborative process. Like I don't know. It was
indeed, yes, every step.
And there's times like you'll work on a project and it's not very collaborative. They're very glued to like, okay, you say it this way, say this line, do it this way. We don't have a reason why. Do it as.
The problem is they forget that this art is all about collaboration.
Right.
It's not about you, Sarah, or you. It's about us.
The story.
And therefore, it's first story and then us bringing it to life.
Yeah.
Therefore, all it takes is collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. I'm such a fool if I believe that it's all about me. Because if you don't shine, I won't shine.
Yes.
If you don't shine, I won't shine. And this one was the best example for me in terms of collaboration.
One of the best things I've ever worked on.
Yes.
That's great.
You are here in body, but are you here in mind and soul?
Roshan as a more mature character of Persian origin was someone that really resonated with you. Do you find parts of yourself in her character?
Oh my God, of course. We have a lot in common with Roshan. I never forget this. When I received the script and I started reading it, I noticed that there's a line about Roshan that says, Roshan is a representative of justice, diversities, ethnicities, and cultures. And I'm thinking, my God, of course, this is right up my alley. I may be able to do a good job with this one because I can identify with this female warrior a lot. I myself have gone through a lot and have been trying very hard to bring justice to our world, into our communities. And now I am portraying a woman. I'm lending my voice to a female warrior. When women are at work and are courageous, are courageous enough to stand for their basic rights, fight for justice, how delicious that is.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yep.
Wow. And Lee, you were mentioning too, you found a personal connection to Basim as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, my journey with regards to when Mirage came into my life, Basim's story with regards to, seeking out, where does he belong in the world? He knows he's meant for something better. He's dealing with his own demons. He's suffering from nightmares. Is it sleep paralysis? Is it mental health? Is it anxiety? All of these things. And, Middle Eastern, Arabic speaking. And I remember a part of my life, in my late teens and early to mid 20s, I struggled a lot with my identity around being a Middle Eastern person, male, with regards to prejudices and everything. So I kind of shunned that part of my life for a very long time. And that identity, didn't want to speak the language anymore, didn't want to tell people I was Lebanese, didn't want to tell them I was Middle Eastern. And so a big part of finding myself again has been finding that love of the history and where I come from. And I remember about 7 months before Mirage came, I reached out to my mom and I was like, Mama, I want to learn the language again. And so we just started spending 3-4 days a week. She would send me some Arabic. She's like, try to figure it out. We'll figure it out together. And 7 months into doing that, Mirage comes across and they're like, one of the questions is, can you speak Arabic? And I was like, I can read, I can speak, I can, and then Mom was involved too with helping me kind of decipher some of the language as well, because context was everything, and it's old Arabic, which is very different from the Lebanese dialect. But yeah, so it came at a time in my life where it was refinding that identity that, I loved when I was a child, and then grew to have resentment and self-loathing around a little bit, and now finding that love again and being able to voice this guy that's trying to find that. It was really, really, really cool.
And to embrace your heritage.
That's the thing too. I mean, this whole game is about.
For me, it did
that's this whole
I should
game.
be proud of my heritage.
Of course.
Yeah.
It embraces the whole history of the Middle East that I think a lot of us don't know about. Like, I didn't know that Baghdad was such a hub, especially in the 9th century, and it was like multicultural and multilingual and multi-religious and collaborative and trade and like. I was like, oh, no wonder, like, my genealogy is so mixed. Like, you know, historic, like, we're all from everywhere, especially in that area. And I was like, right.
Could listen to these two talk about their characters
me
all
too.
day.
Like, yeah.
But I have a final question for you, because obviously you wrote the characters of Basim and Roshan before you cast Lee and Shohreh. How did they evolve as characters after the casting and after the performances came through?
Everybody, and myself included, put something into Basim that is very personal to us. Whether it's the trauma, whether it's the sleep paralysis, or, you know, different stuff on his outfit, for example. But the fact that you found something, you brought something that was personal to you, and it was reassuring seeing you, you know, being so invested in the character, because we always fear that what we write is too personal, so that people won't connect with it, because that's too. But what we tell when we tell stories, we tell something about universal feelings, what it is to be a human, and the fact that you brought that and you were so into it right away, it was very reassuring, and it helps us writing, you know, furthermore about the character. So. Yeah, you brought that. You brought your light and everything, and that was amazing. And about you, Shohreh, I mean, what can I say? It's
Shohreh.
It was like, yeah, you brought obviously your voice has a natural power. So when you did the first lines in the recording session, I remember everyone was, you know, we were impressed, and you brought the charisma, obviously, to the character right away. I mean, just with your voice, which is, you know, amazing to watch and to witness, and it's really much like a, you know, like a Frankenstein movie when you hear the actors, you know, saying the line for the first time. It's like, okay, it's alive.
Right.
The character is alive. You know, it's and it's always powerful as a moment for us as you know, writers, narrative designers, whatever, voice designers. Everybody was amazed.
Are you ready to leave your life behind?
About your voice, I mean, I remember seeing the trailer reveal. When you say my name, what's my name?
Basim ibn Ishaq.
Like I remember chills. Dude, hearing that. Like I've heard her voice, you know, as we're recording and everything, but that trailer reveal with that opening, I immediately was like, just in hearing that, I was like, okay, this woman, this character, has gone through a lot.
Yes.
And is coming through a lot of experience. Like, you hear that. Just in those 3
exactly.
words, she's saying Basim's name.
Yes.
And already you know it's coming from someone that is a master. I don't know what the point of me saying that is. It's just like to say that, like, you hear that and you feel, at least I felt it immediately without needing to know much about anything about the character. I was like, all right, I get it.
The minute Roshan sees Basim, she knows that Basim has all the characteristics, all those ingredients to become an amazing hidden one who can stand for justice. And obviously this woman who's been through a lot, as you were mentioning rightfully, has gained lots of experience that has led her to become wise, pretty wise. And she's looking for the right person, the next king, or you know, that she can just relay whatever she's learned
Pass the torch
throughout her life, relay to this young man, and so the saga can continue.
You have me way more excited than I was even at the beginning of this interview to play this game.
We've done our job.
Shohreh, Lee, Sarah, thank you
Joseph,
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and a huge thank you to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
For
course.
this.
Thank you
100%,
to you
thank
two
you.
for bringing so much to the project. Thank you
Thank you, Sarah.
for being magical.
So exciting. So exciting. I'm so excited. Just as a fan too, I'm just like, I can't wait. I can't wait to play this
October
game.
5th can't come soon enough.
I know. It's got to happen. It's going to happen soon. It's going to happen soon.
Yes.
Soon. I'm okay. I can breathe.
How many hours do we have?
We're counting down for sure. We're counting down for sure.